Every marketer, including myself, will tell you be consistent, show up every single day. And I realized over the last nearly a decade of being in business that simply does not work for my energy. I wanted to dedicate a video specifically to humans like me who aren't on every single day, who don't feel creative or have other business or life things that are going on that stops you from being on Instagram or whatever platform that you're showing up on every single day without fail, and to let you know that you are not a failure if that is you too. It does not have to be that way. So we are talking about energetic seasons and or cycles in your business, how to ride the different waves to make your business work for you no matter what your energy type is. Hello, welcome. My name is Kay Putnam. I'm the psychology-driven brand strategist. I love helping entrepreneurs get their genius out of their brain and into the world. And sometimes that means paying attention to things that aren't even really about business. It's about how you operate, because you're the visionary. You're the one that's driving the ship. And if the captain's asleep at the wheel, things aren't going to go the way that we intend for them to go, right? So let's talk energy. Some personal confessions first. I am a mother of two. I am lazy sometimes. I also really love to travel. I love to ski. I love to hike. I love to visit other cultures when there's not a worldwide pandemic. I like to spend time with my family. I am not the type of person who works on my business from sun up to sundown every single day of the week. I've never been that person, and I've beat myself up about it because there's a lot of people that are telling you that you need to be, particularly in the early days of your business. And I found that that's just not true. You don't have to be on all of the time to consistently grow your business and to consistently show up in your business. The first step is awareness, right? So what I would love for you to do first while you're thinking about this video is to think back, to reflect, and start to pay attention to your energy levels. This idea of daily productivity is actually a very masculine function of our society, especially us women identifying folks that are watching. And I know some of you guys as well. Your energy isn't constant every single day. You don't have this 24-hour cycle. It's actually more like a month-long cycle. And I'm sure every human on this planet can identify with feeling ebbs and flows that happen with the seasons. And I'm not saying this to be woo, this is scientific fact. Like our brain, our hormones, our perceived energy in any given day or any given hour is massively affected by things that are much longer cycles than just the 24-hour cycle. So many of us are not meant to have the same high energy level and the same productivity level every single day. So if that's you, I encourage you to start to pay attention to what your energetic cycles look like. Do you have maybe like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off type of situation? Are you magnetic in the fall? Or like, are you solar powered like I am? So summer becomes the time where you want to be outside all of the time, and perhaps you have a family, so you know that fall becomes this like magical reset in the year where you can sit down and be productive and all of those things. But awareness is the first step, is what I'm trying to say. Pay attention to your energy levels. Reflect on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis how things are going without judgment, and just pay attention to what that looks like for you. Once you have some awareness of what this looks like, no matter how long or short these cycles are for you, the next step is to plan for your energetic times, to plan for your busy seasons. For me, I have noticed that I have pretty distinct 6-week on, 6-week off cycles that I like to move through. It works for me for whatever reason. I've never read in a book that 6 weeks is some magical number, but it is both short enough that my kind of like ADHD brain can see that far in advance, so I can plan 6 weeks ahead. And I don't know why. I just gained that awareness over time that I generally work really well in these 6-week on, 6-week off cycles, which does fit really nicely into a quarter of the year, which works with traditional business planning metrics. But regardless, plan for your busy season. For me, this looks like I'm going to plan basically a launch once each quarter. And then after the launch, I need to make sure that I'm taking a break. So I'm paying attention to the highs, but I'm acknowledging that there's going to be a low after that period of time. So I love to batch create or to put a sprint of effort into launching a new product, or batch creating a bunch of YouTube videos or social media content, or writing in my book. All of these things are done for me in these times where I understand that my energy is going to be more conducive to doing this type of work. And I use this time and I use this energetic momentum to focus on things that are really important, that I know are going to have a long-term benefit on my business, not just something that is going to bloop, like show up and then disappear, because that would mean that I'm being silent for the 6 weeks after my push or my sprint. So plan for the busy season, assemble all of your resources, let your team know that you're gearing up to a big launch. Batch create what matters. Batch create what's going to have staying power after this energetic high is complete. And then, like I said, schedule rest afterwards. I experienced some of the worst burnout in my entire career earlier this year because I didn't schedule the rest. I went from August through the end of November with back-to-back launches. I can't remember if it was 3 launches or 4 launches, with no rest in between. And then I crashed for at least 3 months. I think it was actually closer to 4 or 5 months. You know, that quote that says, like, if you don't plan for rest or if you don't plan to be healthy, eventually your body will just make you take the rest. And it's going to be when you aren't anticipating it or aren't planning for it. So make sure that you are planning proactively for rest after your busy seasons. So we're getting aware of what we think our cycles might be. A lot of people use the months as an energetic cycle. Other people really love to use quarters. Myself, I use the half quarters with a half quarter of rest. Whatever you feel like is going to make the most sense for you, do that. Second, drop in your most important, long-lasting creation activities during that short period. And then second, like 2B here, is to acknowledge that you're going to need rest after and force yourself to take it. For me, rest doesn't mean that I'm completely logging off of my business in 90% of the cases. Rest means that I'm shifting more into a maintenance mode where I'm serving my existing students or clients. I'm creating like small pieces of content and doing what I need to do to keep my business at more of a stasis point. Oftentimes it means I'm delivering on whatever I just sold, but this tends to be a lot easier for me energetically. So this rest works quite well for me. And then of course I do build in actual rest as well. So on a weekly basis, I never work on the weekends. It's a boundary that I created because I know that my body and my mind needs that cycle of, okay, I'm working during the week and I'm taking off actually typically Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off from work. And then Monday is actually kind of short for me too. So I'm working about half of the time during the week, and then the other half is dedicated to rest and rejuvenation. And then, like I mentioned with the 6-week cycle, I am at some point during that 12 weeks planning at least a week to take completely off and handing over the maintenance activities that I would normally be doing to my team, or pausing them when that's a possibility, and shifting into that rest and rejuvenation. I would love if you would help me out in the comments. I am working on developing a framework, a quadrant system that analyzes different people's energetic signatures. I have this theory that some of us work really well with these batch creation waves of energy, whereas some of us work really, really well with more of a constant kind of like staccato movement that happens really consistently. It's like a metronome. And when they jump out of that metronome, then they have a hard time actually picking up the pace again because they've lost their momentum. So which of those two do you identify with? Do you have these cycles? If so, how long are they? Or do you prefer to have more consistency and predictability in your schedule and in your life? And then I think the other quadrant, and let me know if this resonates, I think the other quadrant is where you gather your energy to create. So I feel like some people like myself create really well when I have the content planned. I am sitting here like in my room by myself, channeling you that is watching, but it's not live. I'm able to think about my thoughts, to plan it ahead, to construct it in a way that I think is going to be best received by you. So I'm more of this batch planner, batch creator up here. And then I think the other side of the quadrant are the people, and I know a lot of my clients are this way, are the people that actually create best live. So whether you are batch creating all of that live content at once, or you're creating that live content on the daily, I know many of my clients and students really want to be interacting with another human being while they're creating. Like they want to be on a call, they want to be on an interview, or in some type of coaching situation where they're creating that way and not feeling like they're shouting into like nothingness. I don't mind the nothingness because I like to be able to up the production value. I like to be able to plan and to outline and have some strategic frameworks that I include here in these YouTube videos, in my courses, that type of thing. But yeah, let me know where on those quadrants you think that you fall in the comments. I'm working on fleshing this out, and I would really appreciate your feedback and to let me know what resonates with you. And hit the thumbs up if you found this interesting, if you found this helpful, if you plan on not being a robot and creating every single gosh darn day, and you now have a plan for batching and managing your energy cycles better. And then hit subscribe if you'd like to hear some more of my follow-up content on this energetic signature framework that I'm developing, because I think it's good. It just needs some more, it needs some more work. So I'll be sharing more about that in future YouTube videos. Hope you found this helpful. Talk to you guys soon.